Quick disclaimer, we are not investigative journalists. We simply read, watch, and listen to whatever we can to satisfy our curiosity while use this information to form our own personal opinions. Do not take this as investigative journalism. This is simply our own rabbit holes. Hey guys, and welcome to the Crime Cave, where we go down rabbit holes from documentaries, docuseries, and other true crime podcasts. Hey guys, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Victoria.
How are you today, Victoria?
I'm good. A little tired, but I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's Thursday. We're almost to the end.
Almost there.
Almost there. So I have a little crime news for you today, and it's actually local. Unfortunately, there is a case out of Lyman, South Carolina that is being investigated right now, where police officers are looking for information on what happened on August 18th at 12:13 in the morning. They responded to a call where a man was found lying in his driveway. He had been shot. He died when he was transported to the hospital. He was identified as 29-year-old Connor Ethan Lloyd, and the police are looking for anyone who noticed any kind of suspicious activity or have any information about the case. If you do have any information about the case, it happened in Lyman, South Carolina, in the Farms subdivision, which is a very quiet subdivision here in Lyman. You can contact the Lyman Police Department at 864-439-8445. But I just don't understand how this quiet little subdivision, they have to look for people. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't live in the quietest area. If I heard a gunshot, you wouldn't be looking for me. Still, what is it, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23? I mean, we're almost at 10 days later, and there's no updates on this case. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and then, okay, I have so many questions, because there's was he shot there? Because if nobody said anything, that's weird. Those houses are very close together there. And then B, if he wasn't shot there, did somebody else shoot him and then drive him back and threw him in the driveway and left? What? I'm confused.
So I think that's why they're asking about suspicious activity. They don't want to release too much, but I don't see how you could have been shot in the driveway and no one heard it.
Listen, I'm too nosy for them not to release too much.
Well, cases don't get solved when they release too much. Fake confessions happen and everything else. Yeah, I just don't understand. He doesn't even look like a kind of guy he doesn't look like he's a gangster or a drug addict, or he looks pretty healthy in his pictures, but I mean, I guess you always show the best pictures, so who knows? I hope for his family they have answers soon.
Me too.
Plus, that's so young. 20 died. I mean, I'm 20 died. That's crazy. You have your whole life ahead of you. It's all over.
Yeah. Again, we've said this a million times. Don't kill people, guys. Don't do it. All right, so today we are taking a deep dive into the disappearance of Paula Merchant. And this was actually a requested case. And then we looked into it and we're like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And we needed to get this case out there some more. This case took place in the Columbia, South Carolina area. Paula was from Forest Acre, which is a little bit outside of actual Columbia. I've lived here my entire life and never heard of this case. And at this point, it has been 22 years since Paula disappeared. And I don't know if maybe I was too young to remember it, but I even asked my father-in-law, who's from Columbia area, and at that point they were here, but still had a lot of family in that area. He had no idea. He didn't recall that name at all. So maybe it just wasn't covered too much, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how cases, it's who you know or what you look like if they get the airtime. It's really sad to hear. But Paula was 25 years old at the time that she went missing. She went missing on January 3rd of 1999. And at the time of her disappearance, her last known communication was at 6:30 that night. Her car was found burned and destroyed at 12:30 in the morning. Paula had recently just moved back to South Carolina from Georgia. She had just completed her bachelor's degree in Georgia for anthropology. Had moved back to get her master's. While in Georgia, Paula had a boyfriend, but she also had a drug problem that she was battling. And unfortunately, that battle would be the last conversation she had with her boyfriend. She had talked to him about trying to stay clean and fighting the want to use. That evening, Paula left her house to go to an NA meeting at a local church.
And sadly, she never made it to that meeting. The police did do interviews with what people would talk to them at these NA meetings, but guys, NA and AA are anonymous for a reason. So, like, it's not really that far of a stretch or that surprising that most people did not want to talk to them. It's normal. But the few that did talk to them did say that she was not there. They had never seen her. So it was unfortunate. And connecting some more dots, I looked into this a little bit more and found out where the church she was going to was and the area where her car was found. They're not at all near each other, so that opens room for speculation because the church was 15 to 20 minutes one way and where her car was found is 15 to 20 minutes the other way.
Where her car was found, the City of Columbia police responded to the call of the flames. Her keys and her purse were still in her car. No one knew that Paula was even missing until they went to the house to connect the dots. That's sad to think too that, if you left to go to an NA meeting, you're not going to be gone 6 hours. You know what I mean? I know she was an adult, 25 years old as an adult, but if I had a child that I knew was struggling and they're just gone for for 6 hours, I think I would be a little concerned.
I mean, that's the thing though. Her parents didn't really know.
I mean, have you ever met a heroin addict that you didn't know they were a heroin addict?
I mean, I don't think I've met anybody on heroin to my knowledge. I met people on meth.
Much
And,
the
same. They're on meth, so.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just sad. I want to believe that she was on her way to the NA meeting and was stopped along the way and turned the other direction. But I'm always the believer that people are stronger than their diseases, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like torn on that part. Okay, so like Rachel said earlier, we do know that she had been talking with her boyfriend, that she was struggling this particular day. And they did very quickly clear the boyfriend of any wrongdoing. He was very much in Georgia area, in Atlanta area. So boyfriend had nothing to do with it, which is sometimes a rare occurrence in these things. Have you noticed that? Why is it always the boyfriend or the husband?
Because why would you kill a stranger?
I mean, I don't know. We have a couple people we could ask that question to if we ever got the chance. But it's just, I'm always sitting here looking at my husband like, you gonna kill me one day, man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. I'm annoying as fuck.
I see more. I can understand more why a person close to somebody kills somebody than I can a stranger killing another stranger. You know what I mean? To just kill somebody for no reason, that's just sick.
I can't imagine.
I mean, somebody who goes and kills a complete stranger, it's like, why? Like that to me I cannot connect. I can understand in the heat of the moment being, I don't agree with it, but I can see how it could get to that point. But to
Yeah,
just
like an
go out
argument going too far.
right, or to just have so much hatred for the person because of something that, one situation that just trickled down into a large amount of hatred. I can see that. I cannot see you just getting in your car, finding a random stranger and killing them. I just can't do that. I don't understand. Like, how do you have enough hatred to go through with the act?
I have no answers on that one. I wish I did. I'd like to understand okay, wait, that sounds bad. I'd like to understand the thought process just because I can't fathom it. Like, it makes no sense in my brain.
Nope, makes no sense to mine either. But I do know that her family does not want her to be remembered as a drug addict, and I mean, no family would. Paula was more
Yeah.
than just her addiction. While I don't understand how she got to that point of her addiction, she was much more than that. I mean, she graduated college, a bachelor's degree as an addict. That shows a lot of strength right there because, heck, I can't even finish my associate's degree as not an addict, so.
I mean, yeah, I agree. She was much more than just a person that just so happened to end up with a drug problem. And, that's not what we're trying to focus on here. It just so happens to be a part of the story of what happened. So we're just telling you that, but we're not trying to focus on it or diminish anybody's accomplishments just because they so happened to use drugs. After they cleared the boyfriend, the police figured out that one of the last calls made from the home was Paula's mother ordering a pizza, and that when Paula left the house, the pizza guy was still at the house. The police did follow up with the pizza guy, and they did clear him as well, which that poor pizza guy was just out there doing his job.
Okay, if it was the pizza guy, can you imagine that story? Like, yes, I ordered a pizza, and then I'm delivering this pizza, and then I'm just gonna kill this random, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not even.
No, that makes like no sense. But you know what? We know from reading everything we read and watching everything we watch, because we're weirdos.
There was actually a
people
case
just do that.
there was actually a case. I think it was Oklahoma, but the guy was delivering a pizza or ordered a pizza. I'm not sure. I think he was delivering pizza. Anyways, one of the parties out of this pizza delivery exchange put a bomb around the neck of another person and then left him in the middle of the street, like a ticking time bomb, and the bomb went off and he died. So, I mean, it does happen.
Fuck.
I'll get you the case. We'll talk about it in the future. But yeah, it did happen.
Okay, then.
I thought about it when we were talking. But yeah, there is a case where pizza was getting delivered and it changed into a bomb around the neck. Yep, mind blown.
Alrighty then. Thank you for that information at 9 o'clock in the morning.
No problem. We'll cover this case one day.
So, a couple years before Paula went missing, there was another girl that went missing in 1992. Her name was Dale Dinwiddie. We will talk about her case in a later episode, but there was similarities. And the only similarities really was the way they looked, and I think maybe the time frame of when they went missing. But they went missing on two different like sides of town. Paula was in an area that was known to be, or at least her car was found in an area that was known to be a drug area, and Dale was in like the college party area.
Dale went missing from 5 Points, which is a very popular area of Columbia where a lot of USC students hang out in the bar district.
Yeah, and her case was, that case is more widely known because when I said her name to my father-in-law, he knew that name. So that case was covered more on the news. I know some of the family talks about it in interviews that I've heard, and some people just kind of speculation behind the scenes is that the reason Dale's case was more on TV and on the news is because there wasn't a drug aspect and blah, 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 blah.
Which is not correct. First of all, Dale went missing from, again, a huge college area. A lot of students are there. She was a college-age student in this area. That's going to grab attention, first of all. Second of all, Dale babysat for one of the people that worked within the news. So there was a close connection there. Again, at the beginning of this episode, I said it's who you know or what you look like. Well, they looked alike. They had a lot of the same features, but Dale just happened to be a close family friend of somebody who could get her story out loud. I do not believe that Paula's story was not as widely known because of her drug use. I believe it really was who you knew.
And also, you're going to tell me that in 5 Points in the early 90s, there wasn't drugs involved? Okay.
Oh, yeah, there's drugs. I mean, it's a bar district. It's a bar. Like, there's literally, that's all 5 Points is restaurants and bars. It's, you bar hop there. I've been there a couple times, and honestly, I do like big crowds, so it's not the place that I ever like to hang out. But again, this is a crowded area with lots of people, and you're a college student just trying to have fun. And then you also happen to know somebody who can get your story on the news. So it did add up in the favor for Dale, but it had nothing against Paula and her drug use. I don't believe personally.
I agree. I don't think it was anything to do with that. They've cleared 2 people at this point. They've cleared the boyfriend and the pizza guy for Paula's disappearance. Then we come across later in October of 2000, Ronaldo Rivera, who was convicted on the murder of 4 women in Augusta, Georgia. But he was working in Aiken, South Carolina at the time. But they also ended up clearing him because of his punch in and outs at work. So they knew he doesn't have anything to do with it. And the family, I think her mom, and I can't remember if it was her dad or her brother, but they went to the prison to try and talk to him because, and from my understanding, they still think that he had something to do with it.
Yeah,
So.
they did try to get through the prison to speak to Riviera, and the lawyers would not allow it. I personally don't think Riviera was involved in this case either. Why would you kill 4 in Augusta but only kill 1 in Columbia? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people have patterns. Dale's case was in 92. This was in 99. I don't know. There's just too many separations. I don't believe he was involved in
Yeah.
either one of these cases.
I don't think so either. And it's sad because, I'm sure having that answer just that fast, that somebody's already in jail for murdering other people, and then having that answer, you would be kind of relieved to have the answer, at least know what happened. Because right now, Dale's family and Paula's family, they don't know what happened. It is still unsolved. Both cases are still unsolved and are being handled by a cold case unit in Columbia right now. And that stinks. Like 22 and 29 years to not know what happened to your daughter.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a long
Dale's
fucking time.
Dale's case will be 30 years coming up because she went missing in 92. So both families, that's a long time. I don't think I would be as quiet. I've been to Columbia. I go to Columbia quite often. I've never seen like a billboard for her or anything. It's
Yeah, no, we go several times too, and I've never seen anything. I've seen weird billboards that like make me go to websites because I'm like, what the hell is that? Never anything about this, like either one of these cases. So I just was like, okay, especially like the more I read into it. But like we said at the beginning, this was a requested case. And the person that requested this case also gave us a statement because they did talk to the police at the time about Paula's disappearance. And we are going to read that statement. We do have permission to use this statement from the source, but we will not be using any names. Do you want to read the statement, Rachel?
I can. Alrighty, so this statement from our anonymous source says, I was in high school and my best friend's sister was dating a not good guy. He was into trouble, like selling drugs, guns, stealing, and just general trouble. My best friend was eavesdropping on her sister's phone call when she and him mentioned Paula and said she owed people money for drugs and she wouldn't be found because some guy put her body on a train. I mentioned this to my aunt who knew about some of Paula's family, and the family members passed this along to the police. The Forest Acre Police showed up at my house 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. to question me. My mom had to take me to the police station. The next day, the police showed up at the school to question my best friend. They questioned me and her because they had heard the name come up in other interviews. That is the end of that statement.
So let's unpack that. Okay, so we have somebody that is known for selling drugs, messing with guns, stealing, stuff like that. Then, and as it sounds like unprompted, brings up Paula and talks about what happened with her. And then I did ask for clarification on the statement. The person that they're talking about, that the name came up several times in the investigation, was the person whose name was used to saying that he put her body on a train. That's a lot.
How long after her disappearance was this conversation?
I'm not sure. I did not get a
Because I
time
would
frame.
wonder if, yeah, I would wonder if it was close enough where they would have been able to search trains, or if any bodies did find, come. I mean, they look at trains, you know what I mean? It's not like,
Yeah, because where her car was, there was train tracks right beside it, pretty much.
did they look at the trains? I mean, did they?
I haven't seen anything saying they did or they didn't. Like we said, guys, this is still an open investigation, so some of the information we're going to be able to get is going to be very limited, and they're not, like Rachel said earlier, they're not going to reveal everything on an open case.
Yep, you got to protect what you do know, but I would just be curious to see if they ever did look at the trains, or even wherever the trains were going. Maybe a body did turn up along the route somewhere and it just hasn't been connected yet. I don't know.
The thing is this guy, like I said, completely unprompted brings this up. You don't just haul off and say shit like that. You don't. So either you're sick and you're just saying shit to sound cool, or you know something.
If you know something, though, and it's not prompted, why would you say anything?
I mean, Obviously, he was a little wannabe gangster over there. It could be that. It could just be, oh, let me talk mad shit so I seem cool because this girl likes that I'm a bad guy, like a bad kid. Like, come on. Like, I get it was like 90s to early 2000s, but like, nah. Personally, I think he knows something. Like, he has got to know something. Because you don't just say that. You don't.
Has he been questioned?
Don't believe so, not to my knowledge.
So his name's mentioned more than once.
So the boyfriend's name the boyfriend's name is the first time, as far as I know, this is where this came up. And then the guy who supposedly put her body on the train has been brought up multiple times.
And has that guy been interviewed? I didn't see anything about it.
I haven't seen anything to know one way or the other. I do not have this person's name, so I don't know. And I honestly don't know how much our source would know about that, because they weren't super close to anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you pull up any information about Paula, it always leads back to Riviera, but I really just don't think.
Yeah, it's all the websites and stuff, and we're going to have those linked in the description like we always do, but they all have him with her, and I'm like, I don't know. No, they already cleared. First of all, the police already did their investigation on that. Second of all, you're just speculating. And unfortunately, there's a lot of room for speculation in this case. Because there's not a lot of information known. There's not, well, not publicly. I don't know what they know behind the scenes, unfortunately. I wish I did, because I'm nosy like that. But I don't know. I think it's all overall just a really freaking sad case. It's really, really sad.
I do know that DNA is something that they're looking at right now.
So that means they somehow got some DNA. But from where? Because if you set the car on fire, you're destroying evidence. Like, you don't just set a car on fire for funsies. No, there's evidence in that. There was evidence in that car. Like, her keys were still in the ignition. Her purse was still in the car. I don't know if they were destroying DNA evidence. I don't know what they were going for, but you were destroying shit because you didn't want anybody to know.
I just hope that talking about this case maybe gets some minds running and some new tips, because I'm sure that's when new tips are found.
I really hope so too. I mean, it's not like we have a huge platform or anything, but if we can put information out there, we're gonna. And then I also was curious because I was thinking about this, like, with her this whole thing of supposedly owing somebody money for drugs and blah, blah, blah in that area. Would her boyfriend have known about that stuff? Or would it have been kept private and hidden? I don't know. I'm curious about how much her boyfriend knew. Paula's boyfriend knew. Because obviously he knew she had a drug problem. We know that, but did she disclose, like, if there was somebody she owed money to? Because we don't know if at the time she was using drugs. And unfortunately, in a statement that her brother made in an interview with a news station, he did say that unfortunately he thinks her death did have something to do with drugs. Which is sad.
Yeah, it is sad. I would wonder more, who else was she hanging out with there? Have they been questioned?
Like I said, there's just not a whole lot out there. Like, there's so much room for speculation because not all information is public, or if a majority of the information is public, they don't have that much to go on at the current, for what we can find. I don't know. Do you have any theories or thoughts?
Theories? No. There's not enough for me to give a theory that I would feel comfortable giving. I do think it was a sad case, and I don't understand the no one knowing her private life thing, and I just hope they find some answers. Also, if her body's on a train, I just don't get how no one's found a body on a train.
I don't know, but I agree. I don't think there's really enough to make a theory. It would, like we always say, we're not investigative journalists or anything. We're just speculating. And I don't have enough to go on to say one way or the other what I think happened. I agree. It's just all very, very sad. And I really, really hope that with them making more and more advancements in technology and with solving cold cases, that we do at some point get answers, and the family gets answers, more importantly, because that sucks to just not know all these years what happened to your child and what happened to your sister, your friend. Alrighty, well, thanks guys for joining this episode of Crime and Chill. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms under the name Crime and Chill Pod or Crime and Chill Podcast, and join our Facebook group Crime and Chill Fam to talk crime with us. We will talk to y'all next week. Bye.